Part 10 of 25. Pup. From Good Little Boys Go to Heaven by Stukin. Fall 1956, East Texas. I stopped off to the side of the dirt road opposite the church. I took note of the deep trenches in the road, and I imagined that the road might have only been navigated in a boat when it rained. I got out of my car, crossed the road, walked across the lot in front of the church, and stopped. There were two cars parked on the right side of the church. Instead of opening one of the doors and going inside, I knocked maybe 10 times or so. I stepped back when the door began to open. The colored preacher pushed the door open fully. He greeted me with a smile, and I returned it. People don't usually knock. Usually they open the door and walk right in. It's been such a long time since I've been in a church, I've forgotten how to enter. You here to see me? Yes, Reverend, I need a dog for a little boy. I'm unsure why I came to a preacher looking for a dog, but I don't know anyone else to ask. And I need someone to know I'm trying. It's not your burden to bear, but still, I need you to know I am trying. He nodded his head as if he understood what I was saying. He knew the little boy I was asking for. I added Joey, and he nodded his head again. Still, I told the name again, Joey. I've only set eyes on the boy once, shortly after he was born. Parishioners speak of seeing his mother in town, but she hasn't set foot in this church in a while, and the boy has never been here. I, I pray for them, I do. I think of them, I do. But I can only do what I can do. If a dog is as much as I can do, it's as much as I can do. I'll send word to you shortly. I got the word a few days later and went to his church. He came out the front of the church followed by a small boy with a dog in his arms. Joey could not have been happier when I showed up at their shack with the dog in my arms. His mother was not pleased. I held the puppy out to him, and without hesitation, he took the dog in his arms and into his heart. I ignored his mother's disapproving look and asked the boy what he would name the dog. He thought for a moment and then said, Joey. Joey is his name. I had never heard of a fellow naming a dog after himself, but what does an 8-year-old boy named Joey name his dog other than Joey? The dog kept the name, and the boy's mother and I took to calling the boy Pup. Joey, the boy, is my son. I bought him the dog because he needed a companion other than his mother. I would be I would stay at their shack when I could find the time, but the times were infrequent, so mostly it was just him and her. She never sent him to school, they never went to church, and they had no friends. Her monthly trips into town to buy things she needed, she wouldn't talk about. I'd asked her if she needed things from town, and she'd say she could get the things they needed. I asked if she had friends in town. She said no. I asked her if she knew the names of any town folk. She'd respond with a shake of her head. She made it clear that she didn't enjoy the company of anyone she happened to cross paths with going into town and back. She made it clear she didn't enjoy the company of anyone other than the boy. I thought that getting Joey a dog would make him feel less alone. I knew from personal experience that feeling alone is not a good feeling. I was worried about it. He had to have felt alone. He was quiet and didn't complain, but he had to have felt alone. I had to do what I could to spare him this empty feeling. I never knew what happened to that dog. I visited and noticed the dog was not about. I asked, Where's Joey? The boy and his mother each held their quiet. We sat quietly for what seemed an hour. I got up and left the shack without a word being passed. I went back the next evening. Angie, is something wrong? She answered my question with a blank look. Angie, where is the dog? She screamed another silent blank look at me. I got Pup a guitar after I accepted the dog was gone. I told him I'd get him another dog, and he said no. He said he did not want another dog. I never spoke another word. He never spoke another word to me about Joey, his puppy. While handing him the guitar, I asked if he knew what had happened to the dog. Did he run away? Was he killed? He just looked at his mother, wanting her to answer for him. She just looked at me. I let it go like a million things over the years. I bought a book on playing the guitar and we learned how to tune the guitar strings together. We couldn't get it on pitch, but if he tuned the strings together, he could still play. His mama said he was serious about learning to play, learning mostly from listening to the radio. His mama said he got to be pretty good. I wasn't around to hear him get to be pretty good. We learned a lot of the basics together, including tuning, chords, and finger picking. Then a day came, a day I can't point to, when he stopped playing for me. Whether it was his getting too good to be bothered with me or something else, I do not know. I wasn't around regularly. When I did find the time to visit, it became clear with each visit that he was becoming more and more uncomfortable around me. The last time I asked him to play, he looked to his mother. She smiled at him. He got up and left the shack. His mother said to give him time. He lost his mother to time a couple of months ago. Time has been cruel, as time tends to be. Now he says he's leaving. A small Texas town is not big enough to hold him. He says he is going to Houston, a town large enough to swallow a man whole if he's not lucky, is how I've heard it described. His mother and I were together for the better part and the worst part of 16 years. That is how old the boy is. We were not together much of the last couple of years. First I heard of her death was a few days ago. I was at home sitting, trying to keep my mind blank. That's how I tried to relax, by trying to not think of anything. My wife came in the room and sat down in the chair across from my sitting chair. She looked at me long and hard. I just sat there quietly, waiting to hear what it was she was going to tell me. She's dead. They buried her. I saw the boy in town and I went up to him and asked how his mother was, just like I was concerned about her. I told him I was sorry for his loss. He had no idea who I was. He didn't recognize his father's wife. She then got up and left the room. My wife knew the boy on sight, and she asked him about his mother. My wife knew the boy's mother had been sick. I do not know how. I do not know what all she knew of the boy's mother. I do not know how she recognized him. She knew of the boy and his mother, but I do not know if she had ever spoken to either of them before. She might have talked to the boy's mother. She might have asked the boy's mother whatever might have entered her mind to ask her, told her whatever she might have been of a mind to tell her. After her pleas to me to stop seeing the boy went unmet, she could have gone to Angie, the boy's mother, with the same pleas. I do not know. I had several questions I should have asked Anna, my wife. What do you care about her passing? Why did you see cause to tell me this? You do not think this changes things between us, do you? I asked her nothing. My wife and I never spoke to each other again. There were no angry words, no tears, for I finally won for my wife. She left me, but she is still here. She left our daughter, Annabelle, behind. My wife is still here. I had to see Joey before he left. I did not know how he would react to me. I would not have been surprised if he had cursed me to my face. I was almost wishing he had. Being cursed would have been preferable to being quietly dismissed. Still, I had to go by and see him. They had never said much to each other, Joey and his mother, when I was around. I can imagine everything they said to each other when I was not there. Things they said about me, things they said about anything. I wanted to hear everything they had to say, but they would never say much to me. People's words become far too relevant when they choose not to share them with us. And when they decide to share their words with us, we frequently wish they had not. But they had come to dismiss me and deny me the harsh words I deserved. I couldn't imagine them being as wordless with each other as they were with me. When I knocked on the shack's door, he opened it, greeted me with a nod of his head. He stepped back from the doorway, allowing me to enter. There was an uncomfortable silence between us before I spoke. I just heard about your mama. I'm so sorry. I wish I had known how ill she was. Maybe I could have done something for her. I tried to send the doctor by to see her. You remember when he showed up? at your door only to be turned away by your mama? I thought when I stopped coming by, maybe she would get better. I'm so sorry. I seem to sap the life out of anything unlucky to cross paths with me. I really thought when I stopped coming by, she would get better. The doctor I had to come by to see her told me she would not let him look at her. I thought maybe was feeling better. I wish I had known. I really thought she'd get better when I stopped coming by. I wish. He nodded his head but did not look at me. He did not say anything to my apology either. He seemed calm. I felt he was just standing there waiting for me to say my piece and leave. I searched for words to say that would comfort him. I knew he had to be hurting. I searched for words to bring us closer together. You thought about what you're going to do now? He nodded his head yes. I think I'm going to go to Houston and see what kind of life I can make for myself there. I'll try with my guitar. If that doesn't work out, I'll try something else. From what I hear, there are a million something elses a man can try in Houston. You know, I've never heard you play. Not after you got old and started playing well. Remember, I got you the guitar. We learned some basic things together, but you stopped playing for me. Your mama told me you got to be pretty good. I guess too good to play for me. Where's your guitar? I saw the guitar leaning against the couch just as I was asking. I picked it up and gave it a few strums. I don't remember much. Maybe you know a little more than me. He smiled and nodded. Yes, I play all the time. You would have had to be here to hear me. I grimaced at the last comment. I felt flushed. He took the guitar from me and positioned it to play. He started strumming, did a few chord changes, and then picked a little. He played well. We started a song I thought I could recognize. A couple of bars into the song, I came to realize the song I was singing and the song he was playing was different. I kept singing though, and he kept playing. He finished his song a couple of bars before my song ended. What song were you playing? I asked. I'm not sure. What song were you singing? He responded with a smile. I'm not sure. We shared a laugh for the first time since he was a small boy. It was a bittersweet moment, though. At that very moment, we were closer than we had been in a long time, and he was leaving. Have you written any songs? I asked. I've written a lot of music. Haven't been able to find the words to go with them. Most of the words I've written are pretty sad stuff. Can you play something you have written? Yeah. He started playing a song I thought I recognized. I'm so lonesome I could cry. He played it in a strange sort of way. I guess it could have been a different song, maybe something he had written. Sounded good, though. I knew there were other kinds of music other than country and western. Thought maybe he'd mixed one of them with the country version. After he had finished, I decided it was not the song I thought I was hearing that I heard. When are you thinking about leaving? Don't have anything to keep me here so soon. I nodded my head, acknowledging what he had just said. I have some money I've been holding for you. I was going to give it to you on your 18th birthday. I told your mama about it. Maybe she mentioned it to you. Does not matter. I guess now is a pretty good time to give it to you. I'll bring it by tomorrow. He nodded his head. It caught me off guard how civil he was being to me. I did not know if it was an expression of indifference or whether he'd come to terms with the relationships between his mama, him, and me. Anyway, I liked him this way. He seemed poised and confident, a young man ready for the world. I thought briefly about how he would get none of any of what I had when I passed. He was my son. Him being colored meant he could not be my heir unless I put him in my will. He could not make a claim on anything I had. I could not have included him in my will and possibly embarrassed Annabelle, my daughter. All I could do was give him as much as he could deal with while I was alive. But he always seemed reluctant to take every dime I offered. Each time he took a few dollars from me, he seemed to feel as he was selling his soul. I had a difficult time figuring out just how much I should give him. He would run dry probably in a short time, no matter how much I gave him, I thought. I could offer to send him money from time to time when he needed it. I did not have any hope of ever hearing from him again after he was gone, though. He could have had a regular allowance, but I did not think he would ever ask for any more from me after he left here. I just wanted Pup to know I was an honorable man. I was trying to be an honorable man. My being with his mama and him is not the product of anything I had done. I did not cause any of this. It was my attempt to atone for what my brother Jack had done to them. If I told Pup I was not his father by blood, it was my brother Jack's blood he had flowing through his veins. Maybe he would have viewed me differently. If you had known Jack and me, you would doubt we were even blood relations. Jack died before Pup was born. All Pup looked at me with was disdain. I think his belief that I caused all this thing with his mama, kept Pup and me apart. I did not cause any of this. I tried to do what I thought was right for him and his mother. He could not see that. He did not know. I decided I would tell Pup about Jack and his mama. I had nothing to lose. He said he was leaving here, and I knew I would never see him again. What should I have told him, though? Should I have told him he was the product of my brother Jack attacking his mother? Should I have told him her version of what happened between them, that they had been together a few times? How could I explain Jack's death to Pup? Should I have just said that he was taken by the river and left it at that? I never asked his mother about her helping me drown Jack. Why would she help me drown a man she had chosen to be with a few times? Should I have told Pup that his mom and I drowned my brother Jack? Did my desire to tell him of his parentage come from my wanting him to feel good about me, or from my wanting to hurt him? He could easily have been hurt by my telling him that he was not really my son. It could have been all that could have been all he focused on. He could have heard me telling him that he was not my son and not heard anything else I said. He could have heard me saying I was done with him. That was not what I wanted him to hear. I felt the need to confess. I needed to confess my brother's death. I had felt that need before. What happens when a need goes unfulfilled? I needed forgiveness for the life I forced Pup's mama to live. I needed absolution. Pup was the only one who could give it to me. I had to tell him everything. I had to confess everything to him. Only he could give me forgiveness. I went by the bank the next morning and made a withdrawal. I went home and opened a bottle of whiskey. I was not sure when I started on the bottle if I had the courage to go say goodbye to Pup for the last time. In half a bottle, I found the courage I needed. I drove over to his shack. I got out and knocked on the door. He greeted me the same way the previous night. I walked over to the table and sat down. I sat and searched for words to say goodbye to my son. If you find you need more money or anything else, you only need to ask for it. Houston is a pretty big town. Money can seem to disappear from a man's pocket. I remember when I was a young man, I could not keep a dime in my pocket. I always had my mama to fall back on, though. She is dead, you know. She died a couple of years ago. I felt lost without her for a while. I guess that is maybe why you're going to Houston, to find yourself. Thought of going off to a big city like that would scare me to death. Guess you're more adventurous than I ever was. I have been thinking about all that I have, material things, and about how none of it will go to you when I die. That just is not right to my way of thinking. Like I said, though, if you need anything, just ask. I'll be all right. I never really needed much money to get by. I don't imagine being in a big city will change that much. I knew from the start I was in over my head with your mama. It was not my fault, and it was not hers. It's easy to say it's nobody's fault, but it always has to be somebody's. I cannot explain what drew your mama and me together to you. I cannot explain what it was that kept us together. I never could get my life under control. I'm searching for the words to make you understand, but I cannot find them. The story I could tell is not one you should hear. You do not I do not know what to say to make things all right between you and me. I do not know. He looked at me like he didn't understand a word I was saying. That only heightened my anxiety I felt. Finally, he spoke. I said, I accepted you didn't have control over your life. I accept that you were in over your head. It's not important that you find words to make me understand. I'm not interested in understanding. Just interested in leaving this behind me. I nodded my head sadly. I took the money I had for him from my coat pocket and held it out toward him. He hesitated, but he took it and gave me a head nod. A thank you without the words. I got up and walked around the cabin for the last time. I looked in the bedroom. So many memories came to me, happy ones and sad ones. I reached out my hand to him. He took it and shook it. I nodded my head to him and I left. He said he was leaving and he left. That's it.